Welcome back to the channel. Today I would like to talk a little bit about ADHD, the wisdom of ADHD to be more precise, and how we might begin to live in harmony with our mind. So, we often approach the mind as if it were some sort of machine that if we only tinkered with enough could be made to function properly. We believe that if we fix this or correct that, we will finally be able to think correctly. But what if the mind isn't a machine at all? What if it is more like the wind or the ocean, with its own rhythms and patterns that we must learn to sail through rather than to control? This is where I believe we must shift our perspective when we speak of something like ADHD. This label implies a disorder of attention. A disorder according to whom and by what measure? I would suggest that perhaps what we are experiencing is not so much a disorder, but rather a different expression of the mind's natural flow. You see, the mind, much like the Tao, does not move in straight lines. It dances, it drifts, it jumps from one thought to another, sometimes settling deeply into a single task, other times fluttering around like a butterfly. In the West, we've grown so accustomed to the idea of efficiency, of concentration, of productive linear thinking, that we view anything outside of that as some sort of malfunction. But nature does not operate like a machine. Nature meanders. It has ebbs and flows, and so too does your mind. So, what are you to do with this seemingly wayward attention of yours? How do you live with a mind that doesn't settle down in the way society expects it to? The first and most important thing is acceptance. Now, I don't mean resignation, as if you are saying, well, that's just how I am and there's nothing I can do about it. No, acceptance here means embracing the reality of your nature as it is, without the need to fight against it. You are not a broken machine, but rather a unique expression of the universe. Just in the same way that some rivers are wide and slow, and others are fast and winding, so too does your mind have its own current. One of the greatest lessons from the Tao is that of flow, of moving with the currents rather than against them. When we talk of ADHD, we are often talking about minds that move quickly, that flit from one thing to another. The secret then is not to try and force your mind into some sort of rigid structure, but to work with its natural tendencies. Perhaps you can break tasks into smaller steps. Perhaps you can allow for flexibility, allowing yourself to shift from one thing to another without guilt. Don't try to dam the river. Learn to navigate it instead. You may find that what seemed like an obstacle is actually a gift, allowing you to see connections that others miss, to explore ideas with an intensity that others can't match. Now, there's something quite amusing about the way people often misunderstand mindfulness. It's not about forcing yourself to focus, as though your mind is a naughty child that needs a spanking. Mindfulness is simply about noticing, about being present with whatever is happening without judgment. So, when your mind wanders, as it inevitably will, you don't scold it. You simply notice that it has wandered, perhaps smile to yourself, and gently bring it back. So there's no need to beat yourself up over a wandering mind. Thoughts are like clouds passing through the sky. They come and they go. Just as you wouldn't criticize a cloud for drifting, neither should you criticize yourself for losing focus. It's in the nature of thoughts to wander. The trick is to see this without identifying with it, to recognize that you are not your thoughts, nor your mind's fleeting attention. You are the awareness in which all of this takes place. Now, we can't forget that the mind is not isolated from the body. In fact, the two are deeply interconnected. What you eat, how you move, how you sleep, these things all affect the way your mind functions. The modern diet, in the case of where I live, the standard American diet, full of processed foods, artificial additives, colorings, sweeteners, and seed oils, creates a clutter within the body that mirrors the clutter we experience in the mind. Just as we practice simplicity in thought, so too should we practice simplicity in what we eat. Whole foods, vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, and lean meats are closer to the earth, closer to the source. They provide the kind of nourishment that allows the body and mind to function naturally, without the artificial highs and lows that come from processed foods. Consider this. If your mind feels cloudy or scattered, it may be that your body is trying to tell you something. Sometimes the foods we eat contribute to brain fog, anxiety, or mood swings. An elimination diet, where you remove certain foods and slowly reintroduce them, can be a simple way of listening to the body's wisdom. By paying attention to how different foods affect you, you begin to discern what nourishes you and what hinders you. And this is not about restriction or control, but about tuning into the natural intelligence of your body. When you eat in alignment with your body's needs, you might find that your mind, too, becomes clearer and more focused, not through force, but through harmony. And here's the crux of it all. Life is not a problem to be solved, nor is the mind. It's a dance, and each of us has our own rhythm. Some of us move quickly, darting from one idea to the next, while others take their time, lingering in each moment. There is no right way to dance, only the way that feels most true to you. So let go of the idea that you must fix yourself, that you must make your mind conform to some external standard of efficiency or order. Instead, learn to dance with your mind as it is. Embrace the flow of attention, the moments of clarity and the moments of distraction, with the same grace and acceptance that you would bring to any other part of life. By doing so, you turn what was once a struggle into an exploration, a playful, curious, and compassionate journey through the mysterious and wonderful landscape of your own mind.